You're a General Conference delegate, and you want to propose an action that you think other delegates will agree with. How do you share your proposal for consideration? Great question. In this video, I explain the steps to speak and make a motion during General Conference. These steps also generally apply to other United Methodist legislative processes, such as at annual conference sessions. So even if you aren't a delegate to General Conference, you may find this video helpful for participating in or following conferences at various levels. Before I begin outlining the process of getting to speak, I want to encourage delegates to make motions, especially on the legislation that comes to your legislative committee. You and the other delegates in your legislative committee will have reviewed and studied the legislation assigned to your committee before going to General Conference, probably more than the rest of the 862 General Conference delegates. You are the most knowledgeable about those particular petitions. A legislative committee is also small enough to have participatory debates as it tries to perfect the legislation, that is, get the legislation into the best form possible by drawing from the perspectives and experiences of the legislative committee members. So come to General Conference prepared with amendments, or think of some to propose as you hear speeches in committee about the merits of each legislative item. With that encouragement, when you want to speak at General Conference, the first step is to be recognized or given permission by the presiding officer. That person is either the presiding bishop in a plenary session or the chairperson in a legislative committee. The method to request to speak will be defined in advance by the rules or by the presider. Examples include entering your name in an electronic speaker pool or raising your hand. When you are recognized, identify yourself and state briefly what you have to say. If you are proposing an action for the body to take, that is called making a motion. This can be a motion to amend the legislation under discussion, or a motion suggesting some other proceeding. Motions start with the words, "I move." For example, I move that Section E be amended by inserting the words "before 9 a.m." at the end of the last sentence. Or, I move to refer the legislation to the connectional table to review it and report back on its global implications to the 2024 General Conference. Once you have stated your motion, pause. The presiding officer will then ask whether any delegates second the motion. This step ensures that at least one other person in the group is interested in discussing the motion. If no one seconds it, the motion dies, and the presiding officer calls on someone else. After your motion is seconded, you have the first right to speak in favor of the motion, to persuade other delegates to agree with you and vote in support of your proposed action. Now the motion belongs to the deliberating body, whether that's the legislative committee or the plenary. The presiding officer controls who else is recognized to speak for or against the motion and who can offer amendments, and the presiding officer takes the vote on your motion. If your motion is a legislative amendment, it is very important for the official record that you write down the wording of the amendment exactly as you stated it. The secretary will likely have amendment forms for just that purpose, and it's actually easier if you write down your amendment first and then read it when you make the motion. Delegates are considering the merits of the amendment they heard you propose, so the secretary must have the precise wording you used to ensure that the official record accurately reflects the content that delegates debated and voted on. While a motion is under consideration, no motions on a new topic can be made until the current motion is voted on. Motions that relate to the current motion, such as an amendment, can be made. You can even propose an amendment to the amendment. Speeches must also be about the motion or amendment under consideration until a vote is taken. Wait until a proposed amendment is voted on before offering a new amendment, and wait until the main motion is voted on before offering a motion on a new topic. This process facilitates an orderly discussion on one topic before moving on to the next topic. From my own experience, I know that it can be tricky to follow the action as it happens. Are we debating the amendment, or are we debating the main motion? But when you want to offer your own motion, it is helpful to pay extra attention so that you can do so at the right time. You could even ask other delegates to confirm which motion is currently under discussion. It's also possible that when you have a motion ready, you won't get recognized by the presiding officer, that the appropriate time will pass and you won't ever be able to make that motion or amendment. Don't let that discourage you. I hope that you will keep following the debate and consider what other legislative amendments and actions you might propose so that you can try again another time. Please comment below if you have questions or suggestions for future topics. Subscribe to this channel to get notices about my future videos. Thanks for watching.